Hello, my name is Elizabeth. I've just finished my second year of theology and religion at Keble, and today I'm going to talk a bit about justice and the Christian life. So, my own background is not very exciting. I grew up in a Christian family, been going to church as long as I can remember, but I grew up in quite an affluent suburb of Chicago, and so I think from a young age was able to recognize the differences in my neighborhood, in my town, in the city, and other towns in our area. And while the church that I grew up in, didn't necessarily explicitly talk about justice in any ways that I can remember, I think instilled in me from a young age was this idea that Christians are supposed to go and help people because, I saw my church running outreaches and food pantries and stuff like that. And so I think that was quite important for how I sort of began to think about what Christians are supposed to be doing in the world. And then it was in 2016, which was obviously a big year for America and the world, that I really started to think more deeply about justice issues and understand how that related to my faith, and then be able to go and do something about it. So I remember learning about climate change in school and just learning more about the issue and coming to care about it more deeply, and understanding how God cares about climate change too, because he created this world that he loves so much, and he also loves the people who are affected by climate change, and how that breaks his heart. And so that I can go and do something about it. So I became vegetarian and then vegan, and that was really important for me. I think it was the first time I sort of went through the process of learning more about an issue, caring about it, understanding how God cared about it, and then doing something to affect change. But I think what's been most helpful the past few years in thinking about justice and Christianity and how they come together is learning and having the framework of the meta-narrative of Scripture. So what I mean by that is sort of the big story of the Bible from beginning to end, and understanding how that story is about justice, is about restoration. So if we think about the Bible sort of in these big stages of creation, fall, the history of Israel, Jesus, and then the church, we can see how it's a story of relationships. We have this relationship with God, with other people, and with the planet, and all those relationships are broken time and time again. And then when Jesus comes, his act on the cross restores all those relationships, restores all the brokenness, and that restoration is an act of justice because Jesus puts right all the relationships. He, makes them be able to, function how they were intended to function, and that restoration is really beautiful and really, it's not something we'll ever really be able to understand, but there's a lot of, beauty in the mystery of that. Just how that restoration is an act of justice. And so the gospel is an act of justice. And so as Christians who love the gospel and want to share it and see it, come to fruition in our lives and in our cities and in our world, we have a responsibility then to pursue justice and to care and respond to certain social justice issues. So all of those ideas sort of got me involved in a society when I came to Oxford called Just Love, which I am now the president of. And so the vision of Just Love is to inspire and release every Christian student to pursue the biblical call to social justice. And so that looks like learning about coming together as a community, learning about various social justice issues, how they relate to our faith and our relationship with Jesus, and then what we could actually do as students to, do something about the injustices in the world, and then also thinking about how we as Christians can change to, be able to do more in the future or care more about various injustices in the world. So, that often looks like doing homelessness outreach, or raising awareness about human trafficking in various industries. Of course, over this past term, it looked a bit different. What we ended up doing was releasing a few podcasts, which you can find on our website or on our Facebook, Instagram, social media, in which we had conversations with various people about different social justice issues. So I'd really encourage you to go check those out. I was really inspired by those conversations. And I think we'll sort of see what happens in Michaelmas. We're not sure yet, but because the vision of Just Love is to sort of affect change broadly in, Christian culture, that we as Christians care about justice. It's really important that we be thinking about what's going on in the world, be praying for what's going on in the world, and what Jesus wants us to do about it. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope you feel inspired to think more about justice and how that relates to your personal relationship with Jesus. Thanks.